Hey everybody, November 2025 promises to be a fascinating month as we're going to have Mars, Mercury, and the Sun in the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is going to go retrograde and Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So we're having some sort of major redirect, returnaround, redo, reevaluation and and making sure that we're in alignment because Saturn is also in retrograde and Saturn's going to go direct at the end of the month. So Saturn and Jupiter are making this beautiful trine, Mercury in retrograde. Now, all three of these planets are going to be in retrograde, making sure that we reevaluate, we go back and we redo something from the past that we've left behind, need to redo, need to learn better, or need to integrate more in our psyche before we can go forward when Saturn stations direct at the end of the month. All right, here we are at the beginning of November with Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius. Mars is going to oppose Uranus before it moves into Sagittarius here in a day or two, which will cause some sort of upset, possibly it can be a volatile, sudden violence, sudden upheavals, and it can be a shock and awe energy, crisis energy, and degree point of Scorpio. But other than that, the month looks beautiful after we get over that hump. But Mercury is going to start going retrograde here on the 9th, and then Jupiter follows in retrograde. And Jupiter is making this beautiful trine to Saturn, and the Sun will join that trine. Venus will join that trine in the month of November, which is a beautiful backdrop of harmony, calm, peace, blessings, intuitive intelligence, connecting, reflecting these energies because we've got all this retrogradation with Jupiter in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde. And then with that Mercury in retrograde, we're going back, we're reconnecting with people that we need to reconnect with, that are really a part of our future, that are a part of our Dharma. Sagittarius is all about our Dharma, being on our calling, being on our purpose, following a destiny, following a destined path. And then Jupiter is blessing that with long-term opportunities and abundance and expansion. But when it's in retrograde, we're really reevaluating and we're integrating what we have learned so far and really leaning on what we've learned and really seeing if we've learned it on a psyche level, that it's integrated as a part of who we are now. Planets go direct, we learn a lot. Jupiter direct, Jupiter retrograde, we go back and we discover what we have learned, what is real, what is solid in what we have learned that we can really lean on and use for our own personal expansion. So, Jupiter retrograde, ruling all these planets in Sagittarius. The Sun's going to go into Sagittarius in the 21st of November. And Mercury will be retrograde back into Scorpio, forming another opposition to Uranus, which could bring another deep secrets, revelations, people from the past coming in. Mercury retrograde, we're reevaluating people from our past, choices we made in the past that were not necessarily put us in the right direction. People we left behind that are part of that are really supportive of our true dharmic path that we need to go back and reconnect with. Ideas, projects that we may have not felt strong enough to do or courageous enough to do. Because remember, we have a Jupiter who is ruling all of these planets in Sagittarius, squaring Chiron, giving us the courage and healing us to be initiators and to start these dharmic callings and missions, or shall we say purposes, or what we're here to do, which is going to bring the world into a better place. When we follow our dharmic path collectively, we make heaven on earth, basically. So Jupiter and Saturn is making this beautiful trine, blessing us with opportunities and rewards, you could say, from the squares that happened before with Jupiter Saturn square, where we're now starting to see opportunities in the results of our efforts that will solidify and stabilize an abundant future for us, right? But with this retrogradation, we have to go back and fix something or reconnect with someone or redo a project or come back and reevaluate something we believe. Maybe we have a new belief system. Maybe we can do something now with our new belief, with that Jupiter squaring Chiron. We have the faith in it. Now we can go back and take on a project or take on a relationship or an idea. Go back, retrieve this this good thing that is going to improve our lives and expand our lives. And now we're going to bring it back into our journey, our forward destiny. And then when Saturn goes direct here at the end of the month, it really takes us forward on that, with that new aligned, shall we say, things that we retrieved from the past, people, ideas, projects. And then we're bringing them with us forward. Now, Jupiter's going to stay in retrograde. Mercury's going to go out of retrograde in December. Saturn's going to be out of retrograde in December, but Jupiter's going to continue its retrogradation, which means we're continuing to draw on what we have internally learned, and we're continuing to integrate wisdom, knowledge, experience. And it's a long retrogradation, but it is in its abundant sign of Cancer, so it shouldn't block abundance. It should continue to feed us abundance. Only we're really leaning on what an internal wisdom that we have developed in the last. Well, all of this journey began in December 21, 2020. So we've learned a lot. We've gained a lot of wisdom in our experience and in our learning. Jupiter is about learning and growing consciousness and awareness. So we've made a lot of new awareness, new knowledge. So now when Jupiter goes into retrograde, we then apply it. We then see, did we really learn something, or was it only head deep, or did it change who we were? Now at Jupiter retrograde, we see that it has changed who we are, and we now act from that internal place of knowing rather than external. So we have two lunations, as always, every month. We're going to have a full moon in Taurus on the 5th of November. And that is going to be a super abundant full moon, 13 degrees of Taurus. Super abundant full moon. Anytime you're going to get the moon in Taurus, we're really going to get some nice harvest, especially a full moon. We're harvesting. We're reaping the rewards on a full moon. We're seeing the results of some sort of a nice, abundant, strong, stable, long-term results from some sort of effort that we may have seeded in the new moon in May. So we're seeing sort of the harvest of that, and it looks very abundant and sort of we could say it's a very rich produce with a lot of nutrients, nurturing us to continue on this highly supported path that we're on by the universe, feeding us lots of richness. And then we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th. And the new moon in Scorpio on the 20th is pretty intense because it's at the end degree point of Scorpio. So it's like kind of a crisis degree. So for some people, this could be a situation of sort of intensity, upset. But there's a crisis often at the end degree point. But again, it depends on your own personal chart, if it's giving you a harsh angle, but if not, it's a really beautiful new moon where we really clear old fears. With this Saturn, Jupiter trine, it's really supporting our forward momentum. By this point, Saturn is still in retrograde, but we're really finding some deep clearing, some purging of transformative of the fears, some deep fears that have been holding us back from taking our nice path, because it really does. This new moon is a part of that water trine, which brings us into a harmonic flow towards our destiny, a stable new future. So we're really breaking through some sort of deep fear, inner fear that's blocking our destiny with that new moon. And so this is a new moon, a new beginning from a newly healed, or shall we say, purged, brave, the end of that, because whenever you get to the end degree point, Neptune is making a trine to Neptune. So it's sort of some sort of a blessing as a result of having done some internal transformative work. We now have a new seed, a new beginning from sort of fresh soil. So very fertile new moon. And so that takes us pretty much to the end of the month there. Saturn stationing direct, I'm going to go into all the 12 signs now. Saturn stationing direct is going to bring a lot of forward momentum on top of the retrograde energy. So we get a nice, Saturn's been in retrograde, so things have felt possibly pretty blocked and slow and heavy. So then when Saturn starts moving direct, we start to feel it's a slow build momentum, which is really going to take strong traction in February when it goes into Aries. So we're realigning in these energies, getting back, making sure we're in the right path, in the right Dharmic destiny, with the right people, the right projects, the right ideas, so that when Saturn goes direct, we're in alignment, going forward with those things. And again, this is all with a reflective, with the month beginning with this retrogradation, we're really connecting with our higher selves, our souls, and really connecting with what our soul is here to do. And we're just finding the path forward, clarifying that path forward this month. And it will go very strongly forward by the we'll start to really feel a momentum start to build by the end of the month. All right, have a wonderful month. Namaste. All right, Gemini, you guys start the month out with kind of a bang because you're going to have Uranus in your first house in retrograde with Mars opposing it in your sixth house in the sign of Scorpio. So that could bring a crisis in action or a sudden shocking information about your health or something about or truth is revealed about a work employee or a work situation. What else could that be? There could be a sudden surprising conflict in your work against a collaborative work partner or an enemy or um, so the energy of Mars Uranus can be also violent and confrontational, but whatever happens, hopefully it is the best case scenario where it is just um, surprising news that you have to take action around, and it can be related to health and career. It is you're having the big water trine in your workhouses, how you feed yourself, how you support yourself, and how you serve the world through your work. So it can just be a work related experience shows up that has to that causes the need for instant action. Now, this energy is going to last a week, and then, of course, Mars is going to move opposite Uranus in your seventh house. Um, Let me get to that here. Let's get you back into Gemini. So Uranus and Mars are going to move into, Uranus is going to move back into Taurus on the 9th or 8th. And then Mars is going to move into your seventh house on the 5th. So we're building this basically this Mars Uranus opposition is lasting for the first week and involves the cusp of your sixth and your seventh, your 12th and your first. So the first and the sixth house one is going to be related to you, your personality in conflict with perhaps your health, information knowledge that is upsetting or disruptive. And then we have Mars moving into your seventh house and Uranus in your first, where there could be a sudden surprising reconnection with someone from your past. Now, Mercury is also going retrograde here very soon. So this could activate a relationship from the past because Mercury is in shadow during this period. Uranus is in retrograde. So it's very possible a relationship from the past, suddenly surprise communication from that person, an action or movement, and it is usually positive. Sagittarius is quite a positive, sort of a more positive experience. Now, if something, of crisis happens when Mars is in Scorpio, it all turns out well. Everything is going to work out really beautifully because when Mars is in Scorpio, it connects with a big water trine. So this could be a breakthrough in an issue with your health that creates long-term stable health. So if something shows up there around your health, it's going to be for the long-term benefic and good. But in the moment, it may be stressful. But then when we go into this energy, we're looking at surprising connections from people from the past, action. Now, there could be, if you're already in your relationship, you could have a very powerful argument in religious beliefs or philosophical beliefs. It could end a relationship. This is the energy that could suddenly end a connection. Um, Maybe you're in the wrong relationship and then somebody from your past comes in and it's your right relationship because here we have Mercury retrograde on the 10th. Now Jupiter is going to go retrograde on the in your second house on the 11th and 12th. And this is forming a beautiful trine to Saturn. So, and this is happening in your second house. So, some form of financing or income or a way that you could feed yourself or support yourself, um, way of earning money comes in from the past, which was actually more in alignment with your true, solid, stable financial destiny, career, future. So this water trine is really blessing you with stable financial long-term stability. And because your work houses are being lit up and blessed by this beautiful water trine. So that first rough week is a breakthrough with something that you have to break through there, some kind of a breakthrough in your first, seventh, sixth, and then when Uranus is in your 12th, there could be a sudden opening up for travel. So there's a breakthrough in some sort of relationship problem and health problem, but all that opens up, clears up in the second week, and then perhaps travel suddenly opens up for you. Perhaps travel with a connection with your true mate. Or the reason I'm saying true mate is because relationships that aren't real right now are kind of collapsing in this Saturn retrograde karmic cycle that's ending. And these are long term, these transits are setting us up for the long term. So these are long term 29-year cycle relationships and maybe longer. So we're really seeing a beautiful blessing in your finance, work, houses with this water trine, stabilizing your income for the long term. And then we're going to see here, we're going to look at the new moon in Taurus, the full moon in Taurus, which is in your 12th house, which actually could bring travel as well, an opportunity for travel. But this is a very abundant new moon, full moon, and it brings the rewards or the blessings of something that may have happened on a new moon in Taurus either last year or the year before. So there's some beautiful result from some effort made in the past. We've got these retrograde energies with Mercury stationing retrograde. So again, this could bring abundant connections from a relationship from the past. But also, if we have this full moon in Scorpio and we do have that, this is in the week where Mars is opposing Uranus, there could be a breakthrough in your health and you really are able to quit some bad habit and make a lot of progress, and you see some real developments and improvements in your health, like a real big, beautiful breakthrough where you can see is going to be in the clear for a while, like good health. So, then we're going to have the new moon after that. We're going to have a new moon in your sixth house, which brings a sort of new beginning in your health. And again, this connects to your 10th house. So you've got this new vitality, this new energy. You feel really cleared of some sort of stress-based health related issue, which now opens you up for a stable career with Saturn in retrograde in your 10th house. It's going to go direct at the end of the month with with these water energies and the retrograde Jupiter ruling the planets in Sagittarius, your seventh house. Evaluating what relationships you want for the long term and what kind of a work environment or how you want to stabilize your finances for the long term and how you want to be of service, because the sixth house is a house of service. So yeah, so Saturn's going to move direct at the end of the month, really bringing you momentum, it starts the momentum going of the new Dharmic path that you're on in your work houses, in your work. And the water houses are liberating. So you do feel liberated from this breakthrough that happens on the beginning of the month with Uranus Mars. So back to the new moon in your eighth house, some sort of new beginning, new life. Your whole life is going to change here. Your routine, your daily routines change. There's some sort of new beginning that occurs that causes a big change in your life, and it's most likely relationships, since Mars, the ruler of this new moon, is in your seventh house. So this is a very much so it could also be a new, if you're in a relationship, it could be a new project, soul contracted, work connected project with a partnership or your divine partner, or a business partner, of course. All right, so this looks like a wonderful month for you, Gemini. That Jupiter in your second house is going to bring you blessings in your finances, and but you're going to maybe not see that as much until Jupiter is direct in March, but you'll feel the momentum going there. You'll feel the build and a momentum building. And Saturn's going to be in Aries in your 11th house in February. So there's sort of a new paradigm is being born in your life where you have a very stable, long-term dream coming into your reality, basically. All right. Have a wonderful month. Namaste. If you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me at soullevels.com. And please like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you. Namaste.